The first time you see the lantern, you almost walk past it. White paper, 8 characters. Hung low near an old wooden door at the end of a mountain road. Nihon Hito wo Moru Kai, the association to protect Japan's hidden hot springs. It is not a sign meant to attract you. It is something closer to a quiet promise. Beyond this doorway, the water still matters. The mountain still matters. And the people who protect this place have chosen not to let it become just another hotel. Before the lantern, there is the word Hito, a hidden hot spring. But hidden does not mean unknown. Some of these inns appear in magazines. Some are known among serious onsen lovers. Some still feel strangely private when you arrive. The real meaning is closer to this. Still connected. A spring that still belongs to its landscape. A bath shaped by the source. An inn where the road, the water, and the hosts still feel like parts of the same story. The association began in 1975. Across Japan, tourism was becoming bigger, faster, more convenient. Large hotels were expanding. Onsen towns were being rebuilt for group travel. And in the process, some places began to lose the very atmosphere people had traveled to find. So 33 small mountain hot spring inns came together, not to compete with the new hotels, but to protect a different idea entirely. The kind of journey where guests arrives after a long road, removes their shoes, drinks tea, enters the water, eats what the region provides, and sleeps with the sound of a spring somewhere nearby. A hidden hot spring is not only water. It is also the people who keep receiving travelers beside it. One of the clearest examples is Tsurunoyu at Notoya Onsen in Akita. In winter, the snow nearly swallows the buildings. The roofs sit low under the weight of it. Steam rises from water the color of unbleached stone. Into air so cold it makes every moment feel slower. When you step into the outdoor bath, the water is so opaque, you cannot see the stone beneath your feet. You move carefully, not because anyone tells you to, because the place itself makes you pay attention. That is what these inns ask of you first. Not to be entertained, but to adjust. A hidden onsen does not feel like it was built around the guests. It feels like the guest is being allowed briefly into something that was already here. The association is not asking whether an inn has the right type of water. The question is harder than that. Is this place still protecting the spring, the landscape, and the human experience that grew beside it? That is a different standard entirely. The water is not an amenity added to the inn. The inn exists because of the water. And when you understand that, the lantern starts to mean something different. It is not just saying you have arrived. It is asking whether you are willing to slow down enough to receive the place as it is. The lantern does not promise comfort in the modern sense. It promises that the spring is still here. The mountain is still close. And the inn has not rearranged itself for your convenience. The first sign is the lantern itself. When you see the white Nihon Hito wo Mamoru Kai lantern near an entrance, it is not decoration. It is the inn identifying what it has chosen to remain. The second clue is the official website, where member inns can be searched by region. But even here, the experience does not always follow modern travel logic. Some places are easiest to reserve directly. Some may require a phone call. Some feel as though they still belong more to regular guests than to search engines. And in a strange way, that barrier matters. It slows the process down before you even arrive. And then there is the stamp book. When you stay at a participating inn under eligible conditions, you can receive a stamp. Not a digital badge, not a points notification. A real stamp pressed into paper. My stamp book has 9 stamps now. It should probably have more. Some stays did not count because I booked through a regular travel site. Some because I forgot to bring the book at all. And somehow that feels right. The stamp book is not automatic. It does not reward you just for sleeping somewhere beautiful. There is something wonderfully inconvenient about that. A stamp only appears when the journey has followed the rules of the place, not the rules of modern travel, the rules of the lantern. Another member inn that shows a different dimension of this world is Notoya Ryokan in Ginzan Onsen. Ginzan is more famous now, especially at night when the gas lamps glow along the river and the wooden buildings rise above the narrow street. But Notoya reminds you that atmosphere is not only something created for photographs. The building itself carries a cultural designation that restricts what can be changed about it. The river runs directly through the town's memory. And inside, the experience becomes something more intimate. Narrow stairs, worn wood, and the feeling that the building knows more about this place than any photograph does. Its cave bath is especially memorable. You descend away from the bright street outside, and the sound of water changes. It becomes enclosed, closer, almost hidden inside the building itself. In a bath like this, what you notice is that nobody needs to be told. People wash before they enter. They lower their voices without looking at a sign. They sit with the water rather than against it. The pause that lets the place breathe. When you learn to pause with it, the sound of the water changes. The steam becomes easier to see. The old wood feels less like background and more like part of the bath.
Places like this do not ask whether everything is convenient. They ask whether you are willing to adjust to the road, to the water, to the mountain.
But this creates something difficult to sit with. How do you enter a place like this without diminishing what it is? Today, even the most remote mountain inn can appear on millions of screens from a single post. And these are living places, often run by families, often shaped by difficult roads, seasonal weather, and buildings that exist because someone chose not to leave. To visit them well, you have to understand that you're entering something already in motion, something that was here long before you arrived. A hidden hot spring stay may not always be easy. The road may be narrow. Dinner is served at one time. The bath is shared with whoever arrives. These are not limitations. They are the design. You listen to the building at night, and by morning the place has quietly rearranged your sense of time.
At a hidden onsen, comfort is not always the first promise. Sometimes the first promise is quiet. And if you can accept that, the comfort comes later.
I keep coming back to one thing I noticed at Tsurunoyu. There was no sign telling people to be quiet. Everyone just was. That does not happen by accident. Someone built a place where quiet became the natural response. And that is what these inns are protecting. Not just water, not just buildings, the conditions that make that kind of quiet possible. At Tsurunoyu, after the last bath of the evening, the outdoor pool is empty. Snow has covered the stone edge. Steam rises into the dark. The lantern is still lit. Not for everyone arriving, just because it is lit. That is what the association protects. Not a secret, a practice.